I think over the past few months, we've probably done a solid 4 hours on Ed Sheeran, The Shape of You.
Imagine editing it all together.
Just a mega mix. I could talk about this song for forever. This song is riveting. Ed Sheeran's a damn genius. The #1 song on iTunes during our inauguration of a president who's going to roll back a lot of things that we need to protect ourselves and the people we care about. The #1 song this week, epitomizing Trump becoming president, is the new Ed Sheeran, Shape of You. Have you heard this yet, Jake?
Finger on the pulse. No, I haven't heard
People
this.
are saying this is him, you know, dipping his toes a little bit into the tropical house movement.
Place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends at the table doing shots, tripping fast, and then we talk slow. Come over and start
I feel like Chainsmokers are kind of trying to do like an Ed Sheeran thing, actually. He's kind of like the main like storyteller pop songwriter right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't even know who Ed Sheeran is. I mean, I've heard the name. He's
like,
British too, right?
And he's redheaded.
Was he like a talent show winner?
I don't think so.
Don't mind me, say boy, let's not talk too much. Grab on my waist and put that body on me. I'm coming now, follow my lead. Come coming now, follow my lead. I'm in love with the shape of you.
That's where the drop would normally go.
Like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. And last night you were in my room. And now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day discovers.
Jake is not appreciating that line.
I'm in love with your body.
This is weak.
Not feeling it?
No.
I'm in love with your body. Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with the shape of you. When we came, we let the story begin. We're going out on our first
I like
date.
that.
You and me are thrifty.
As President Trump takes office,
I'm in love with your body.
begins to destroy the world and the country, just over and over again, this mantra, I'm in love with your body. I'm in love with your body. I mean, well, what don't you like about it, Jay? You can't relate to that? You can't relate to just
No, I can
being
relate to it. But
just, you know, just drunk on lust. You met somebody new.
yeah,
And you're just still discovering new things about them. And you just, I mean, that's real. That's human sexuality. Is
No doubt.
You're thinking over and over again, I'm in love with your body.
no doubt. I've heard it. Okay,
But what?
you
Hearing it-
gotta bring a new angle to that, bro. Like you gotta just like, you gotta really impress me if that's what you're coming with.
Well, it's an understated song.
Okay, I mean, is that the right subject matter to be understated with?
It's slinky and sexy, I think.
Oh, is that what it is?
I'm in love with your body. I'm in love with your body. I'm in love with your body.
There's no hook. There's no like.
What are you talking about? I'm in love with your body.
I'm in love with the shape of you. Come on, be my baby, come on. 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 I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too.
I'm in love with a stripper.
Last night you were in my room. Now my bedsheets smell like you.
Bed sheets.
Yeah, so what's your problem with that line, man? You made a face both times Ed sang, my bedsheets smell like you. Like, what's your freaking problem, dude? Why don't you like that?
I don't know, man. The term bed sheets is just like so clinical.
Yeah, I guess it's like
Bed sheets?
you probably needed. Well,
Would
okay.
you change the bed sheets?
As a professional songwriter, I can imagine that
Is he working in a hospital?
Ed probably felt like he needed 2 syllables there,
Right.
so he couldn't just say sheets. And now my sheets, and now my sheets,
And now
smell
my sheets.
and my sheets smell like you.
Bed sheets.
And well, maybe in England they say bed
That rolls off the tongue.
maybe in England they say bed sheets more.
God, these bed sheets are filthy.
Just imagine, like, after a passionate night with a lover, and you text him the next morning and be like, babe, I've been thinking about you all morning. My bed sheets smell like you. But maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe in England they say bed sheets. I bet they do.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm all about the charitable interpretations.
Oh man, I got this dog sitter coming over. They're gonna stay at my place and watch after the dog. I gotta change the bed sheets.
I gotta change the bed sheets. Yeah, we don't say that. You say sheets in America.
Yeah. Bed sheets smell like you. Also, smell. I just like. I just hate all those words.
Nurse Anderson, did you change Mrs. Napolitano's bed sheets today? Well, Mrs. Napolitano said you did not change the bed sheets today. Yeah, it sounds institutional. Bed sheets. Cultural differences. Fascinating. Well, anyway, who can blame Ed Sheeran in times like these for wanting to retreat into a world of sexuality? It's very tempting. If you look at what's happening...
Escapist hedonism.
Who wouldn't want to just stay wrapped in bed sheets with their lover? Well, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
That was a great top 5. So the number 1 song in our era, the I Love a Rainy Night of 2017. This is a huge song. Ed Sheeran, Shape of You.
Oh, bed sheets.
The bed sheets one.
Oh, you guys talked about the bed sheets?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Somebody on Twitter.
I'm so uncomfortable with that line.
It's a running theme.
It's a weird one. But
I was hoping Ezra would have FaceTime at the Grammys with Sheeran and be able to be like, bro, what's up with the bed sheets?
There was a moment where I was sitting directly behind him. I could have like hit him with like a double fish hook. I could have like wet willied him. I was like right behind him. He was sitting next to somebody that I vaguely knew. But I was also like, it was his special night.
Yeah.
There's no way
that that's not whack to be like.
Yeah, is there any universe where I could just like genuinely ask him like songwriter to songwriter? He would have just been like, what are you f***ing with me?
You'd have to like.
All right, I get it. It's not the best line in the song. Like, who cares? And I'd be like, no, dude, but I'm genuinely curious about when you were writing. Just to be like,
he's talking about sniffing the bed sheets.
You'd be like, I'm genuinely curious. Is that like a British term?
Somebody on Twitter tweeted at me and said no.
Oh yeah, I think I saw
Maybe
that.
they should treat it both.
Oh wait, because you guys are just interested in the phrase.
It's a very
bed sheets?
formal phrase.
Our thing was
very stiff.
Bed sheets just sound so Victorian. So we were kind of saying, did he do it just because it was like a syllable thing as like a songwriter? I guess we were saying.
Is there a rhyme scheme
to American da 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 and na na da 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 do? Yeah, because you couldn't be like, and now my
sheets,
and now my sheets. It wouldn't work. So we were
good.
The sheets in my bed.
It wouldn't
they
sound
smell
good.
like you.
And now my bed sheets. It doesn't sound that bad actually. I guess we were just saying.
The
You're
sheets
right.
of my bed.
To American ears,
very clinical.
My bed sheets.
To American ears, bed sheets took us out of the song because the song is a very sensual, very sexy song.
Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like everything that Sam Hunt came up to the line with "Body Like a Back Road," and Ed Sheeran just blasted right past it. Sam Hunt is this kind of Body Like a Back Road is like this humble song about like, baby, I feel very comfortable at this point in our relationship. I feel very comfortable with your body, and we have both seen each other nude many times. We have made love many times, and to me, your body has become familiar to me in a comforting way. And then Ed Sheeran is more just like pure lust. I'm in love with the shape of you. Like I see that shape. I just can't get it out of my head.
And Sam Hunt talks about the shapes as well.
Yeah, but the tone is different. And then, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but Sam Hunt, to me, that's like a relationship like a year or two in.
5 or 10 in, dude.
Well, I'm just saying, like, when people are just like walking around naked and like feeling just like super comfortable.
That's 5 years in. That's not one. I'm just messing around.
And I feel like Ed Sheeran is like, I think in the song, it's like they met 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, this is like their second night together.
No. I think it's like 2 weeks when it's just like fully like, we're just having so much sex.
And she's on a business trip now.
Unnerving about that image. He's like smelling the sheets after she's taken off. That's weird.
I guess there's also something about saying bed sheets that implies, I hope nobody finds this vulgar, but I'm just saying like, he's implying that he's smelling like the sex. You know? I'm not going to say any more than that, but like he's...
Or it could be, Kanye talks about the spray tan on the sheets. It could be like, it could smell like her conditioner or something like that.
See that? I think if he wanted to say that, see, there's something about bed sheets that also implies it's not like he said, and the pillowcase smells of herbal essences. It's not like the pillowcase
smells.
The pillowcase smells. The pillowcase smells. The
Michael Caine.
Michael. The pillowcase. The pillowcase smells.
Michael Caine.
Of herbal essences. No, he didn't say anything about the pillowcase. He didn't say anything about perfume. He's like the bed sheets. He's like,
jeez.
He's talking about like the duvet. He should have said the duvet. That would have been sick. And now my duvet smells like you. That's what I would have done.
That would have been sick.
And that's why he's Ed Sheeran and I'm not. It's because I don't have the balls to go for it. I would have just like awkwardly been like, and now my duvet smells like you. Not getting in the top 5
Dude,
of
that
that.
doesn't land as much as bed sheets.
It sounds more like a Vampire Weekend lyric.
Yeah, it really does.
I know, well that's my problem.
No, but it would be, that's not a problem,
No, that's like
dude.
witty. It's like, oh, Ezra
Dude.
referenced the duvet. That's
Love-
Yeah,
hilarious.
man, maybe in 2008. 2012 at best.
Oh, damn.
This is 2017, man.
No, you're just
The
revealing.
people want bed sheets.
It's Trump and bed sheets.
You're
They want Trump.
revealing your insecurities as an aging artist.
And now my duvet.
I really love it when, this is off topic, but when there's that Arctic Monkey song where he talks about a settee.
Oh yeah, that song's sick. Also
That
because it's
song
like a
is so
super
amazing.
heavy song
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he just
he's
says
talking-
settee.
Yeah.
Wait, what's SETI?
Is it like an
I had to-
ottoman or something?
Yeah, it's basically an ottoman. I had to look it up though. I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
He's a good
So-
lyricist.
I feel like if Ed Sheeran talked about some aspect of like
Oh, a settee's
bed,
like a little couch or a bench. And now my settee
like a
smells
day-
like you.
a day.
That'd be sick if he was like, and now my day bed smells like you. I even had it on the day bed. It wasn't me. Or just like,
Yeah, some technical aspect of like sheeting and bedding.
and now my Eames chair smells like you. Bottom line, Ed Sheeran, this is a lustful song. I'm not judging it.
While we're here, I know that we're blasting through the top 5, but in the second verse, he uses some language that is real specific.
Okay,
And
let's get, I want to hear that.
When we let the story begin, we're going out on our first date. You and me are thrifty, so go all you can eat. Fill up your bag and I fill up the plate. We talk for hours and hours about the sweet and the sour and how your family's doing okay. And leaving, getting a taxi, kissing the backseat, tell the driver make the radio play. And I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for
That is a very specific
somebody.
verse. I gotta say, like, when he says, like, we went to an all-you-can-eat place and we talked about the sweet and the sour, that just makes me think about, like, being at some giant buffet.
Yep.
Maybe this says more about me that I just don't have good impulse control at buffets, but I'm picturing, like, sitting down. I'm picturing, like, Ed Sheeran is just, like, pork fried rice, egg rolls.
shrimp scampi.
Shrimp scampi, sweet and sour chicken, large fountain drink.
64-ounce Pepsi.
Which I'm saying is a beautiful thing to share with a loved one. All that sounds good. But then
It's like
getting
the
in
second date.
second date, and then you're getting in the cab and starting to make out on the way home.
Oh,
If I was with a beautiful woman on her like in this early like first few weeks kind of thing,
you're taking it easy on the wontons.
I wouldn't go to an all-you-can-eat place. But he's
Yeah.
saying they wanted a good value, I guess.
Well, it sounds like a adventurous, organic evening where you're like, you're drinking, it's late.
Right.
The only thing that's open is the all-you-can-eat Chinese. Let's hit that.
And we talked about the sweet and the sour and how your family's doing okay. You know, when I first heard that line, I got to admit, I was like a little like, that's a dumb line. But now that I think about it more, and I really do respect Ed Sheeran, maybe he's actually trying to say, so we're sitting there at the Chinese buffet, and frankly, there's not a whole lot to talk about because both of us just want to get home and, you know, get it on.
Yeah.
Because actually, those lines sound like filler unless he's trying to describe sitting at the Chinese buffet and being like, so we're sitting there like trying to talk, like trying to be on a normal date.
Right.
And so I'm like, sweet and sour chicken's pretty good. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, how's your family? They're okay. Interesting.
Right.
Hey, do you want to go back to my place? I
Right.
thought you'd never
No,
ask.
'cause he's saying-
let's go do it, man.
We talk for hours and hours.
Oh, right. Oh, that destroys that. Or maybe he's still nervous. He's like, we had like incredible
Sometimes those
sex.
conversations can go on for hours.
Right. Maybe because nobody wants to cut to the chase.
You're
Maybe
trying
it's
to
like,
close the deal, but it takes 4 hours.
well, I assume this is not the. Oh, maybe it was their first date.
When we let the story begin, we're going out on our first date.
Oh, it is their first
You and
date.
me are thrifty, so go all you can eat. Fill up your bag and I fill up the plate. We talk for hours and hours about the sweet and the sour and how your family's doing okay.
We had nothing to talk
Leaving
about.
it in the taxi, kissing the backseat, tell the driver make the radio play. And I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your
Okay, so
love.
Ed Sheeran
Love
is horned up.
made for somebody.
Man, he's on his first date, and they don't really have that much to talk about. It's a little awkward. They don't know each other
So
that well.
you're giving him that. I think that's an interesting read, that he's specifically like illustrating the fact that the conversation was boring. Where the energy was not in the conversation.
I will give Ed Sheeran, be charitable enough to Ed Sheeran to think that he would not just randomly throw in like, and how your family is doing, okay? The fact that it's a first date makes it all kind of come together to me.
Right.
First date.
They can't really. They
We're
can't
both
find
kind
the
of
words.
broke. Or he doesn't say we're broke. He says we're thrifty. Is this like rich, current Ed Sheeran? Maybe he still is thrifty. Imagine you go on your first date.
I like
you
that
get set up on a blind date with Ed Sheeran, and you're just like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then your friends are like, can you imagine if you like married him? You'd be like a freaking billionaire. And then he's like, so I say we just hit the all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet.
I like that he's trying to make a joke. He's like, we're thrifty, so you fill up your bag.
Oh, he said you fill up your bag.
Yeah,
And I fill up my
fill up
plate.
plate. But it seems like the joke is at her expense, which is like working against him.
Well, he's reflecting on it now, so maybe they're comfortable with each other. No.
It's confusing.
That's a good read on the song, man. That would not have occurred to me. I thought he was presenting their conversation as like, this was like a deep conversation.
Shh, there's only one way to find out.
And I feel like your read of it is so layered and nuanced.
I'm trying to be a charitable person, you know, in 2017. There's enough hatred in the world that I'm always going to look for the good. Speaking of Ed Sheeran and his attention to detail, and he really does have, he truly is an interesting songwriter. Satya Hariharan, not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Satya emailed Jake, I think, right? It was an email, right?
Oh, yeah.
Satya emailed Jake. As always, if you can track down Jake's email, you can always get a Time Crisis email through.
Super hard to find it.
Super hard to find it. And Satya said, Ed Sheeran sung Galway Girl on the new album, the same one as Shape of You. There's a line, I walked her home, then she took me inside to finish some Doritos and another bottle of wine.
Great
Doritos. That's surprising.
Straight up nacho cheese.
Doritos and wine. Sadia asked, what's our take on the song, the lyrics, and what wine would you pair with different flavors of Doritos? You know what?
That's a great question.
You know what? Ed Sheeran, like, I guess he's younger. He's like mid-20s. That does make me think of like those kind of like funny situations where you like randomly find yourself, like somebody invites you to their apartment and they're like nervous. Something about the pairing of Doritos. I'm being super, super charitable to Ed Sheeran today. But when I picture like the pairing of Doritos and another bottle of wine, that reminds me of just being like,
it's like college.
Yeah, college, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little bit later, but like whatever, between 17 and 26. Just being in that zone where you might go to somebody's house and you're like, and everybody's still nervous and they're just like, you want to drink something? And you're just like, sure. And then you're like, what do you have? And they're just like, I got this like half drunk like bottle of wine. You're like, I'm down. And then they like put out some Doritos. And you just have like this weird, random, kind of awkward combo. That's what that connects to me.
He probably lived that moment. The Doritos and the wine.
Yeah, because he could have said something else. That implies some sort of hodgepodge.
That's a tough word to sing. Doritos.
We don't have time to listen to him sing it, but I can imagine.
Doritos.
I hope it's a ballad. That'd be sick.
Galway Girl.
His Irish lady. I walked her home and she took me inside to finish some Doritos and another bottle of wine. And now my bed sheets smell like Doritos.
Cool Ranch.
Anyway, that was the top 5. Congratulations to Ed Sheeran and Eddie Rabbit, 2 Eds, for holding it down in the #1 slots in 1981 and 2017. We can't not keep this guy to the top 5.
Sheeran?
Sheeran, Shape of You. This is like officially just like...
So it's falling in the charts.
Yeah, fell to number 4.
It's been number 1 for
Oh, I'd have thought
months.
about. Actually, I'd have thought about this song the other day.
Yeah.
We've talked about this song so many times. We have to find new angles now. We can't keep talking about the bed sheets. I was just starting to think a lot about the opening line.
Okay.
The club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends at the table doing shots, tripping fast, and then we talk slow.
Okay, so did you hear it?
Yeah.
Honestly, no disrespect to Ed. You're a legend, mate. You're doing the whole music industry proud. But I was just like thinking more about how like raw it is. The opening line, the club isn't the best place to find a lover.
A mate. Wait, is it lover?
He says lover, he's a mate.
Mate's like your friend.
You think this whole song is about appreciating his buddy's body? That'd be a cool idea for a pop song. There aren't enough like non-romantic, platonic body appreciation things. Because people, there's
Bobby Jean. No,
Oh, that would be cool. But anyway, no, he's the club mate. The club isn't the best place to find a lover.
Bobby Jean is about Steve Van Sant's abs.
That's cool. Too many heterosexual men are afraid to just compliment each other's bodies. Like, what is that? We know what that's about. Anyway, the club isn't the best place to find a lover.
Yeah, true.
So the bar is where I go. Me and my friends at the table doing shots real fast, then we talk slow. So let's just break it down. Because
So that means like you're drunk, you're slurring?
Or okay,
We talk
when I was
slow.
just like heard the song on the radio again, and I just like was thinking about that opening line. I gotta give him props for the delivery. It's kind of a mouthful, but he does it really well. The club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go. But basically, think about what he's saying. I'm looking for a lover. Just looking for a lover is already just such like a weird concept.
Yeah.
So basically, you're just picturing like horned up Ed Sheeran wants to have sex tonight, and he's going through a mental checklist.
Not gonna get on Tinder.
Yeah, I guess for whatever reason, he doesn't use Tinder. Maybe because he's Ed Sheeran. That's a good enough reason. So Ed Sheeran clearly wants to have sex. And also, you know, some people might say, well, lover could also just mean like a boyfriend, girlfriend person. But, you know, in this instance,
He's looking for a one night.
it kind of seems like that. It turns out to be more, but
He's on the prowl.
if you're looking for a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you don't say, you're not going to find a girlfriend at the club. You're going to find a girlfriend at the bar. Your friends would be like, there's a lot of other places you could find a girlfriend. You know, my cousin just moved here, whatever. But anyway, he's talking about sex.
She's single. She just broke up with her fiance.
But anyway, we know that he's talking about sex when we really break it down, which is fine. It's a classic part of what it means, you know, being a human being. So the club is not the best place to find a lover. So basically,
being a human being.
in his head, he's thinking, Ed Sheeran wants sex tonight.
Yeah.
And then he's going through a mental checklist. Where's Ed Sheeran going to find sex?
The club.
Is it going to be the club? No, for whatever, you know, some of those Jersey Shore guys, they tend to find sex at the club, not Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Not much of a dancer. Where does Ed Sheeran find sex? The bar. So the bar is where I go. And what do I do to get the sex at the bar? I do a lot of shots very quickly with my friends. And then I go up and speak slowly to women.
You get hammered.
And like when you
Then I
kind of think
stumble
about
up to women.
suddenly the song sounds a lot less sexy. Maybe it never sounded sexy.
And they're going to end up at a Chinese place.
Yeah. At the cheap Chinese buffet.
This song is actually like kind of amazingly
Mundane.
realistic.
Yeah, realistic.
Like brutal realism.
Nothing suave about it. His delivery is kind of suave. The club isn't the best place to find a lover. So the
Right.
bar. But really, when you break it down, this is a dude being like, I can't pull at the club.
Right.
You always get girls at the club, but I never get girls at the club. We're going to the bar.
This is like a Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to end up like crushing Chinese food
It's like
at 2 a.m.
Ed Sheeran's like, so when I'm trying to get a woman, I always go to the bar because my dance moves are not what gets me women. Getting blackout drunk is what gets me women. But the problem is,
Picturing Jay and Silent Bob rolling with Ed Sheeran.
in the movie, it's Kevin James and Jay and Silent Bob together, and then they get there, look around at the girls, and it's like, all right, fellas, 5 shots, 5 minutes, let's do this. Get blackout drunk. But then the thing is, when you drink that much, wait, what do they call? Is that Dutch courage? Is when you get drunk enough to do something you wouldn't normally do?
Yeah, I don't know.
So Ed
Beer
finally
goggles?
gets drunk enough to go over to the when he says we talk slow, he means slurring. I go over to a girl. Hey, I'm Ed Sheeran. And then he's like, you want to go back to my place? And she's like, I guess. And he's like, actually,
I'm fucking hungry.
I'm hungry. Let's go to the Chinese buffet place. I'm starving. I drank way too much, way too quick.
I'm so hungry.
I could murder a plate of orange chicken right
Hungry
now.
as right now.
And then they get there. And then finally in the
Place better have beer.
oh, he's still drinking. And then
Drinking
finally
at the Chinese place.
At the Chinese place. And that's when he says, fill up your bag. And then he says to her, like, this girl's there just like watching like drunk Ed Sheeran. And then he's like, he just like comes back with like 5 egg rolls in his hand, just like opens her purse, sticks it in. And he's like, I'm going to want that later. Don't let the buffet guy see. And then finally, after that romantic courtship, they start making out in the cab.
Greasy Chinese food breath.
Biggest hit of the year.
Striking a nerve.
Yeah,
Everyone can relate, man.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of people get drunk as a way to loosen up, which is not a bad thing. It's just like a shame. I would just say to the younger folks listening, when you're Ed Sheeran's age and you want to go have sex, learn to dance. That's what I'm saying, because then you can go to the club, you can strut your stuff, you don't have to get blackout drunk. In fact, you're getting exercise.
You're drinking a vitamin water.
You're drinking a vitamin water, you're moving, you're feeling good. You can meet somebody at the club. And also, if they want to talk, you go, hey, you want to go to the quieter part of the club and we'll talk. Bars are so loud anyway.
Quieter part of the club.
It exists. Let's go stand outside for a second.
Sometimes you need a couple drinks, though, to give you, as you said, the courage.
I just don't like this dichotomy that he's setting up.
It's hard to imagine just dancing in a club sober.
Well, exactly. But you know what I realized?
I don't have the confidence. I'm a terrible dancer. I can relate to Ed
I'm
here.
a terrible dancer too, but I've been learning some dance moves recently.
Really?
Kind of.
Interesting.
I was interested in this dance move that's kind of it's a classic basic dance move, but it's associated with Morris Day and the Time, where your legs kind of swing. I just wanted to learn it. And then I was at a party and like everybody just started doing it, and I was like, you know what? When you actually like learn a dance move, you kind of just want to keep doing it. You actually want to play music and work. You know, it's like exercising.
Right, okay.
Whatever. I mean, maybe people disagree. That's my entry. And so anyway, I just want to say to Ed, like, I'm not judging, but don't write off the club.
Well, maybe in a year or two, he'll come out with this club version.
You know what's funny? They probably play this song in clubs.
Totally.
So imagine you're on the dance floor.
And in Chinese restaurants.
And in Chinese. All right. That's
and in cabs. They play it everywhere.
I think over the past few months, we've probably done a solid 4 hours on Ed Sheeran, The Shape of You.
Imagine editing it all together.
Just a mega mix.
There's like that 6-hour mix of all of the times the Grateful Dead tuned on stage.
Really?
And someone edited it, so it's just like 6 hours of the Grateful Dead tuning.
That's sick.
We're going to have the 6-hour Time Crisis Ed Sheeran discussion.
Line by line. The number 4 song on the Billboard charts right now. This song's been out for a minute. People haven't really talked about this as a song of the summer contender, just because it's been out for such a long time. But it's killing it. It's still number 4 on the Billboard charts. It's on an album called Divide.
Ooh, wait, hold on.
By a young man out of Great Britain.
One Direction guy?
Not a One Direction guy.
Oh, Sheeran.
Yeah. The song is
Bed Sheets.
4 times platinum, just to put things in perspective.
So he's getting a check for like $400.
Oh, yeah. He's hitting the Chinese buffet. Just
when we were at Staples Center the other night, notice he's playing 3 nights in August.
Yeah.
Time Crisis Field Trip.
We might have to roll out.
Can you imagine an Ed Sheeran show?
Well, you might find it interesting.
How
man.
long is this set, you think? Not like a tight 90 and he's out?
Hour and a half to 2. Yeah, maybe it ends up being an hour 50. You know, he's up on stage by himself most of the time.
That's tight.
Say what you will about the music.
Like
but
guitar?
Guitar, just looper pedal. Beatboxing his heart out.
Huh.
He might have a keyboard.
Interesting. No band.
He's rolling up to Staples Center with less people than GBV. Rolling up to the Silver Lake Lounge.
With the GBV.
I'm just saying, Ed Sheeran's rolling up
That's
to
a
Staples Center.
5-man band. Yeah.
He's rolling up with him, sound guy, light guy, and like one of his day one buddies.
No one else on stage. That's crazy. Actually, I kind of would like to see him with like...
All right, should I try to get his tickets? It's a hot ticket, but I'll make some calls.
Yeah, I think we need to try to do it.
All right, I'll try.
Club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go.
The opening the set with this?
That's a good question.
Nah, he's gonna bury this a little bit.
He might open with one of his more, he has like these more anthemic songs, like U2 style.
I feel like this would be a closer. Almost.
Opens the second encore with this.
Made for somebody like me. Come on now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say, boy, let's not talk too much. Grab on my waist and put that body on me. Come on now, follow my lead. Come on now, follow my lead. I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. And last night you were in my room. And now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day discovering
Need a little palate cleanser.
Yeah.
No, I like Ed Sheeran. I mean, Shape of You.
We've never talked about that song.
We've never talked about that. Regardless of how we feel about the word bed sheets, Shape of You is the biggest song this year.
Yeah.
Can't deny it. And honestly, that's a good message. Like, as much as some people don't like the bed sheets line, not every word matters. It is what it is.
I'm in love with the shape of you.
The number 4 song of the summer is an English guy with red hair and a Game of Thrones star, Ed Sheeran. The song's called Shop of You. This was...
You could get him on the show, I'm sure.
Ed Sheeran?
Yeah.
I hate this song.
You hate this song?
It sucks.
I cannot believe it is still on the
How are you
radio.
gonna hate your redhead brother?
It's a weird fake dancehall song, and then didn't he get someone on, or isn't someone on this?
He tried to give it to Rihanna.
I bet he did.
She didn't take it.
I bet she did.
You got Chuck D on the remix.
No, didn't he get some dancehall guy? There's a dancehall remix to this.
I don't know if it's official.
No, yeah. Hold on.
Wait,
It's like, what's his name, man?
Despot.
Huh?
I thought that you kind of liked Ed Sheeran.
Why did you think that?
I feel like one time you said something about like liking him, being a fan, respecting his craft and artistry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's weird.
It's unbelievable. That song had such a long
When did we start listening
I
to
should
it?
probably just quit music because, man, I can't pick them. When I first heard that song, if you told me that was going to be like the biggest song of all time, I would have said, it'll be big, won't be that big.
There's really not a real official dancehall remix. I thought.
I'm sure that some dancehall person,
There's tons of them, but I thought there was a real one.
it's a very influential song. We've discussed this song at length on Time Crisis, and we've gone deep on the lyrics. We really unpacked it. We really tried to get into what the night in question, the night of.
Uh-huh.
I've thought about the lyrics of this song so much.
Because you wrote them.
Because I ghost wrote them. And the one line that to me always still gets me is when he takes her to the Chinese restaurant.
Oh, they're thrifty, right?
He says they're thrifty, so he tells her, fill up your bag, which already... I also got a question, Fred. Why you got to disrespect the people at the Chinese restaurant? Would you do that down at the pub, Ed?
Well, it's like a buffet.
Yeah, they go down to the buffet on their first date, and he says, you and I are both thrifty, so you
Look
fill
at
up
that
your
guy
bag.
though with his stupid. Look how stupid he looks. Of course, he took
Well,
her to
hold
a
on.
buffet.
We don't...
Got a lion tattoo on the middle of his chest.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
and a bunch of dumbass sleeve.
He's a punk rocker, man. Let him. I mean, I'm not trying to diss the guy's appearance, and frankly, tattoos are known to be cool.
Does he call it a buffet in the song too? Because he should be clear about what he's doing.
Okay,
Every
That may
Chinese
be like
restaurant.
that may be a Britishism or something.
When we can, we let the story begin. We're going out on our first date. You and me are thrifty, so go all you can eat. Fill up your bag and I fill up
Okay,
your plate.
he says so. Go all you
Go
can
all
eat.
you can eat.
Yeah.
This is like I'm not a big Ed Sheeran, what are they called? Cheerios?
You're not gonna do that on your first date.
I'm not a big
and what-
Cheerio, but that is a consistent thing with him, I think, is like always trying to point out that he's just like
poor.
a humble
Right.
guy who's like doesn't
But
have a lot.
what exactly?
He
Like,
has to be one of the richest pop stars alive.
think
right?
about it. Doesn't follow logically. It's your first date. You just met this girl, and you're like, "Let's fill up your bag with food." And then what?
Well, there's so many questions.
Where are you going?
Is it the purse? Is it just
go
like
on a
raw?
picnic?
Is it just noodles?
Are you gonna go? It's very presumptuous to think
Also,
like we're going
a bag
home
is a terrible
with this food.
Also,
it's a
if it's-
terrible structure
and
to
also if
hold
it's-
Chinese
if
food
it's
in.
at
Well,
Yeah,
you
the
would line the
Chinese-
bag with like a plastic bag.
Well,
of
maybe
course.
they do this a lot. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. When you go into an all-you-can-eat buffet, there's an implicit understanding, just basic human morality. You take what you want, you eat what you take, obviously. But also,
That's not but I think I don't think
But
that's
no,
fair because
I think that's fair. But more
what
importantly,
if you just want to? What if you take like one meatball and that meatball sucks and you eat half of it because you want to find out if you like that meatball?
That's fine. That's fine.
fine.
I think the problem is it's all you can eat, not like all you could possibly eat for the rest of your life. Like take it home and
you can't. Everybody knows you can't take away at an all-you-can-eat.
yes, all you can eat there.
There.
The sushi places do it
No,
right.
And here's the thing.
If you don't eat it, they charge you back for it. That's the move.
How do they do that?
Sushi place, any piece left on your plate,
They walk up to you and they watch you.
No, you get your check at the end, and then they're like, "Okay, $5 for each of these pieces." You
all right.
fucking idiot.
Then you might as well just shove that down. Then if you're gonna have to
No,
pay
because
for it.
then it's gonna,
okay,
it's
but
not gonna be good.
back to Ed Sheeran. I could talk about this song for forever.
Another year.
But so we could almost try to give him credit and say, okay, maybe they didn't realize, but he knows. He says, fill up her bag. It's like they're stealing.
You know, the stomach is like a bag. Like maybe he's talking about like your body, like the bag inside you.
That's
You know,
true.
like
and in Britain, they have like bagpipes are made with the stomach. Of
Right.
a sheep,
that's
I
could just
think.
be
He's in
just
love
been
with the
metaphor.
bag inside of her.
I'm in love with the bag in you.
This whole song is
I'm
about
in love with the bag in you. Yeah, that's the remix.
The shape
Yeah,
of your
maybe.
bag.
Dance hall remix.
That's like some weird serial killer just like I'm in love with the shape of you, like that bag. The bag connected to the esophagus. That's my favorite part of the shape of you. I like to fill it with Chinese food and eat it later. Anyway, I didn't even get to my favorite part of the song. You could literally, I wish I was back in college so I could like write a paper about this song. Maybe that's what my career move will be in the
Do a
future.
postdoc.
Yeah, no, maybe I could be like a,
You could do one of those 33 1/3 books about the shape
just
of you.
the song. But hold on. So you and me are thrifty. So we go all you can eat, fill up your bag, and I fill up my plate. But then this is my favorite line.
Wait, how come she got to fill up her bag and he gets to just eat it on his plate like a regular guy? He doesn't have to do
I
any
know
of the dirty
it's
work.
some weird serial killer.
Why don't he fill up his pockets at least?
Fill up the bag. Fill up the bag, baby.
Guy's in
All right. This
Ed
is like-
Sheeran's in.
Hold on. No, but this is my favorite line.
And he was whack on Game of Thrones.
Oh, shots fired. Hold on. This is my favorite line of this song.
We talk for hours and hours about the sweet and the sour and how your family's doing okay.
We talked for hours and hours about the sweet and the sour.
Yo, also she's sitting there with a bag full of food and you talking for hours. What's going on? It smells horrible.
You're true. Actually, I never thought about that. Is that
He skipped a step. He should have been like, we went to your house and you put it in the fridge and then we talked.
and then we sat down on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, as we do kind of forensic recreation of the crime scene, this doesn't make sense. So we went to the all-you-can-eat buffet. I filled up my plate. You filled up your bag. And then you're sitting there with a hot bag full of lo mein, loose egg rolls, general spare
He
ribs,
said it was
chicken.
Chinese food though.
That's true. It says all you can eat buffet. That's not the same
No,
thing.
but then he says we talked
Sweet
for
and
hours and
sour.
hours about the sweet and the sour.
Right, but now he's using poetic license because he's talking about like the sweet and the sour of life, but
Yes,
also
well, it's a double entendre.
the sauce.
Okay,
And that's why you
fair.
got to
That's
give him
fair.
props. That's why
Yeah.
this is my favorite line. Is that we talked for
You
hours and hours
connected
about
both storylines.
the sweet and the sour, literally the sweet and sour chicken rotting in your purse.
Flies just gathering around.
but we also talked about the sweet and sour life and how your family is doing okay.
for hours.
What's
Also-
next?
That seems like a one sentence
I also
conversation.
like,
to me.
I also like that this is their first date
So how do they make that sauce? It's like, what is it, like honey? And then there's some type of soy sauce. How's your parents?
Actually, I like to picture it back. I like to picture it more like that. We talk for hours and hours about the sweet and the sour. It's just like interested in at like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah, and that's about all I know about the manufacture of sweet and sour sauce. Anyway, so how's your family? They're okay. Nice.
That was the first time she got to speak on the whole day. He was just like, well, yeah, it's a cornstarch base, and there's, you know, what they do is they take some honey, and then there's a little chili sauce there.
I think this whole song is about mansplaining sweet and sour sauce.
So you got parents? Sorry, I went on about that sweet and sour for a while.
Literally for 3 hours, Ed Sheeran is mansplaining sweet and sour sauce. By the way, this woman has an advanced degree in food chemistry. I just want to point that out.
And he wouldn't even know.
And he wouldn't even know that because he didn't ask her, but he's just mansplaining sweet and sour sauce. 3 hours. Boy, yeah.
And while he's mansplaining, she's writing out the chemical formula for sweet and sour, and she just slides it across the table when he asks about her parents, and it goes like this, and walks away.
Fellas, never mansplain sweet and sour sauce. Anyway, enough about me. How's the fam? What's that? They're okay. This song is riveting. All right, let's see where else it goes.
And even getting a taxi, kissing the backseat, tell the driver make the radio play.
With the bag of food still in the taxi.
Also, he's ordering around the driver. He starts kissing his girl. He's already stinking up the whole car with his and look, with not some fresh right out the kitchen Chinese food.
Old sweet and sour.
This was already sitting
at this point. It's been several hours.
Buffet food that she put in her bag for 3 hours. And now he's getting into the car, and then he says to the driver, hey, mate, turn up the radio. You don't want to hear this. You know, like he's already kind of ordering the guy, turn up the radio.
Yeah, to try to drown the smell out.
Wait, hold on. But before we leave the food part, I just realized something even funnier. Ed Sheeran's a damn genius. After he says, we talk for hours and hours about the sweet and the sour, and your family made the radio play, then he goes, he made it a little bit late, so you don't realize that's him talking about that good sweet and sour sauce.
So for hours and hours about
unless he's talking about the family conversation.
Family's doing okay. And even getting a taxi.
Just sitting down and just play the sweet and sour. I want everybody at home listening. Anytime you hear "Shape of You" and you hear that part where Ed Sheeran comes in and goes, you just need to picture him kind of licking his lips, putting his hands together,
kind of looking up
and looking at some sweet and sour chicken at a Chinese restaurant. That's what's happening. You people listen to these songs and you don't care about what the artist is really trying to say.
Is that Alex Jones?
The lamestream media, these goblins, make you think that this song is about sex or something disgusting like that. It's about sweet and sour chicken, and it tastes good. I am a human being, and I like sweet and sour chicken. That was my Alex Jones impression.
Yeah, I'm leaving all these impressions.
Shape of You, I gotta say, is my favorite song of the summer because, look, I don't appreciate the fact that Ed Sheeran mansplained sweet and sour sauce, but I will give Ed the benefit of the doubt that I always hate when people assume that the narrator of a song or the main character in something is the author. You don't know what the authorial intent is. And for all we know, Ed Sheeran maybe has a buddy, somebody whose identity he wants to protect, who's a sweet and sour sauce mansplainer, and he wanted to write a song about him. To assume that Ed Sheeran is the mansplaining sweet and sour guy of Shape of You is not right. We in agreement on this?
Could be his Game of Thrones character.
Also got to say,
It's fair.
that's true.
He's method.
Okay.
I wish he was singing that song in Game of Thrones. It really felt like an obvious opportunity.
We talked for hours and hours about the sweet and the sour. Hello. I'm going to see the Queen. Come join us for a swig of sweet and sour sauce as we make our way to King's Landing. Ed Sheeran's a damn genius.
Bed sheets.